Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at crackedfemalcode.com. Okay, so today we're going to make a brief video about when women test you, or just women testing you, period. So I guess the real question is, why do women test men? Now there are a couple different answers. Some women will test you because they're playing games. Some women will test you because they like to hurt you. They want to make you look like an idiot, etc., etc. But there are unconscious testing that women do that's part of their DNA, it's part of their mating system to make sure they're safe. Part of my course, Cracked Female Code, and the reason why it's so long is part of it is we teach you how to tune into your intuition, and when you finally do, it's going to be really blatantly obvious. In fact, let me give you a little bit from that right now. So here's the deal. A lot of guys come to me and, oh, I don't believe in that intuition bullshit, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then what we do is we go through the course, and we go out to the club, or we go to like a mall or wherever, and they're like, dude, I'm terrified of approaching that chick, or that girl, that lady. I'm like, huh, wonder why. So here's my point. So I used to have that same problem too. I used to be terrified of approaching women, thinking, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, until one day I thought, I wonder if this is my gut intuition telling me, do not approach that person. That is a really fucked up person, or that's a mean person. They're gonna hurt you on purpose. So I thought, I'm only going to approach people that I feel comfortable with. And so I literally just like, screw it. If I don't feel comfortable approaching someone, I'm not going to. And all of a sudden, I started meeting better women. They started treating me better. And then, I don't know how many months went by, 6 months, maybe a year. I saw this really pretty girl. I thought, oh, she's so pretty, blah, blah, blah. And I was all nervous and all stressed out of my mind. And I approached her. Sure, I got her number and all that good stuff. But man, did she take me through hell. So all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute. I was terrified. I had that anxiety, all that shit coming up. And like, So then I started listening to my gut, realizing my gut intuition was telling me, dude, do not approach this person. So guys, when women talk about intuition, that's what they're talking about. Like if you have a bad feeling, if suddenly you're in a panic and you're scared and you got anxiety, your unconscious mind is picking up thousands of bits of information and reading someone going, yeah, this is not a good person. Listen to it. See, a lot of men do not listen to their intuition at all, so they'll approach women that their gut's been screaming, do not do it. And so what happens after 10, 15 years of dating or being in relationships, you know, you start just going, oh, all women are mean. All women are this way. When it turns out, no, it's just because you won't listen to your intuition. You keep approaching women that terrify you and your gut's saying this is not a good thing to do, bro. And so you just assume and generalize, well, all women are this way. But if you start listening to your gut going, yeah, you know what? For some reason, my gut said don't approach this person. And you start approaching women you feel comfortable with, and your conversations are easier, you feel more relaxed talking to them, etc., etc. So that's just a little intro to intuition. Now another piece I want to throw in that I also teach in my course, Cracked Female Code, is indirect communication and indirect body language. Okay, that's the right brain's language, the right brain's body language. See, women a lot of times, especially when it comes to romance and love, dating and relationships, and even social situations, they do indirect things because it's actually what you're supposed to do in relationships when it comes to romance, love, and sex, i.e. seduction. You're not supposed to say, hey, do you want to have sex now? That's not romantic, guys. So part of understanding intuition is also part of understanding that sometimes a woman will say A but not mean A, she'll mean something B. If you cannot communicate in this indirect language where you say A but don't mean A, you actually mean something deeper, more meaningful, and more powerful B, she's going to think you're a dummy and her mating system will get turned off. Yes, this is one of the main things I teach men is how to communicate saying A, but not meaning A, but actually meaning B. If you can read her when she does that, she's going to get turned on. It will literally trigger her mating system. Also, if you learn how to communicate in this indirect pattern, that will also trigger a woman's mating system, because it shows her like, oh, you're in tune with your emotions and your feelings, i.e. your intuition. You actually listen to it. So here's the reason why this is so powerful for a man to know how to do this. The modern male has completely lost this art. Now the caveman, men that had to fight in the wild, men that, even had to live in prisons, you have to tune into your intuition or you will fucking die. And you won't be able to hunt animals, and then your family and her children will starve, and she doesn't like that. See, the modern male, well, we don't have to hunt every day like we used to. So we just go to the grocery store and get some meat and get some chicken, get some eggs and milk, and we feed our family. It's not a big deal. In fact, there's a store right down the street from me. But when you had to hunt every day, you had to deal with wild animals such as bears, coyotes, wolves, and other dangerous animals, including smaller animals like rattlesnakes, etc. You had to be in tune with your five senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. The only way the caveman all the way up to about the 1910s, 1920s could survive in the world, you had to be fiercely tuned into your intuition, your gut feeling, and your five senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. You had to trust your unconscious mind, otherwise you would not survive. Number one, you would have a lion, a mountain lion, a tiger, depending on if you live in Africa or wherever you live, would sneak up on you, or a leopard, or a black panther, or whatever you call. They will sneak up on you from behind, and you wouldn't even hear it because you're not tuned into your five senses. So that's right brain. Your right brain processes through the five senses. The further you go into your right brain, the more tuned in you become, which means you can see, hear, feel, smell, and taste at a much higher level, meaning all of a sudden food tastes really flavorful. You could smell things a lot better. All of a sudden music becomes amazing. Okay, I'm going to give you a real life example. Have you ever one day woke up and a song was playing on the radio and you're like, oh, God, I've heard this song 100 times, so sick and tired of it. But then you change the radio station, or you maybe put a CD or DVD in, and you're like, yeah, this is boring, yeah, whatever. But then another day, the same exact song comes on. You're like, man, I love this song. That's because you're in your right brain. The other days, you were in your left logical brain, which means, so the further you go into the left brain, the more you disconnect from your five senses, which means they go down, and you don't taste things as well, you don't smell things as well. Colors aren't as vibrant, things are kind of dull, etc. That's why the left brain is called the black or white brain. Okay? It's not about emotions and feelings and flavors and enjoying life. The right brain is all about enjoying life. At the same time, it keeps you alive. So when you're going out in the wild, you can feel or smell or hear, or even out of your peripheral vision, see a lion, a mountain lion off to the right that's hiding. You can see the tiniest little thing because you're in a more heightened state of awareness. And this is why women test you, to make sure you're in this heightened state of awareness. Because not only does it make you more aware to keep your family safe, it also keeps you aware of her emotions and feelings, and thus she gets turned on romantically. Being in the left brain, it means you're disconnected, which means she doesn't feel the vibe. She's not feeling a sensual, sexual vibration, so to speak. Most men are looking right down the tube. When you go further and further in the left brain, the tube gets narrow. It's like you're looking down a little hose, and that's all you see, and that's all you concentrate on. So someone to the left of you, literally 4 feet, could have a knife and be charging at you, and you wouldn't even see it because you're looking directly straight forward. That's the logical male brain. The further you go into the logical male brain, the smaller the pupils get, and they actually pull together, and they narrow into a single little target. The good thing is it's really good for focusing on singularness of focus, which you can get some things done. But the bad thing is, in a social situation, it could put you in danger. So when you're out in public, you're in a social situation, and there's all kinds of crazy people out in public, at the restaurants, the malls, wherever. She will test you and fuck with you, so to speak, because she's trying to go, okay, is this guy paying attention? She'll do little things. Okay, I'll give you one little test. So my goddaughter and I went to the mall. I remember where we were at, and I remember what store, but I forget what we were going to go get. So the store was off to the right, about 7 stores ahead of us, right? So I'm walking straight. We're on the right side of the mall, And she got over to my right side and she kind of leaned up against me. I thought, oh, that's cute. And then she started kind of veering us off towards the left, and I stopped, and she kind of fell in front of me, and I stepped to the right, and I started walking towards the store, and she did it again, and then I stopped, and she fell in front of me, and I didn't fall down, but kind of slipped forward, and then I stepped behind her and around her. And she did it a third time. It's like, oh, she's testing me. She's trying to make sure I'm not focused, narrow in public. She wants me to be aware. When you're aware, visually, auditory, kinesthetically, olfactory, and gustatory, which is smell and taste, you can sense your environment around you for up to a mile or even more. This is what keeps you safe. See, if you got a mountain lion or an actual tiger coming after you, or a real lion, those things can run super fast. So if that thing's 40 feet from you, it's too late. Hell, if it's 50 yards, it's too late. There was two men from, I think, America or the UK. They're in Africa, and they hired these guides, and the guides were behind them with these big, powerful rifles, and they were hunting, right? And all of a sudden, there was a lion that literally was about 200 yards away, and they're like, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. And they're like, he's so far away. Boom! Almost in that fast a time, the lion was jumping up in the air already, and it swiped that guy's head and went past him. And the guides behind him, you hear boom, 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 boom. They're shooting the lion. And one of the guys yells at him, I told you to shoot! And the guy goes, I didn't know they were that fast. That thing got there fast. It was well over 100 yards. I'm talking probably almost 200 yards. And I was like, holy shit. Because they replayed the video back, and it was unbelievably how quick. Because what happened, the hunter, he kind of turned back at the guy like, why? And then as he starts to turn back, the lion is like 40 feet from him and beginning his jump up in the air. It was incredible. So this is why women want you to be tuned in. It is hardwired into her lower reptilian brain, into their DNA, all the way back from the caveman era. That part of your brain, the reptilian brain, your mating system, and the fight or flight system is not, it has never changed. It's the same way it was 1,000 plus years ago, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago. Its job is to keep you alive and to reproduce so the human species stays alive. So here we are at the mall, and my goddaughter begins to push on me again, and this time though, I took my right arm, I reached around, grabbed her shoulder, and I pulled her in firmly, and with my left hand I pointed at the store and said, sweetie, we're going that way. Here's the deal that a lot of guys, it catches them off guard or surprises them. She actually started to giggle because I caught her trying to manipulate me and trick me. And you're thinking, well, won't they get mad or won't they get embarrassed? No, they want you to win. They want you to catch them in these games. Because when you catch them in these games and call them on it, they're like, oh, thank God I'm with an aware man. I am telling you, men that are aware are very highly valued in modern society, because in modern society we don't have to hunt, we do taxes. Everything we do is logical left brain. Business, math, science, all of our education almost, except for art and music, is left brain. The modern male is a left brain nitwit. They're completely oblivious. This is not attractive to women. So when a woman is testing you, if you can catch her on it and call her on it, it's actually going to be a huge relief, and it's a huge attraction factor. Now she can relax because she knows you're doing the male role. Now she can be a woman. If you don't catch her on her test, she's like, he's oblivious. He has no idea I'm testing him. He has no idea what I'm doing. And that is a major turnoff, because now she has to go in alert mode and do your frickin' job. Now it turns her off because now she's in alert mode. Now there are women that are testing you to see if they can humiliate you and embarrass you, and they get off on it. It's like a game to them, and they think it's funny, and they're just fucking with you. With those women, I would recommend that you just get up politely and walk away. So as I was saying earlier, I was on a date with this woman who I'd been dating for quite a while. I mean, years. And she was testing me after we were already eating our food, and I just stopped and I looked at her. I'm like, really? You're testing me now? And she goes, I don't even know I'm doing it, Michael. It's unconscious. And guys, it is unconscious. See, that's the difference. There's the unconscious natural testing to make sure she's safe. And then there's the testing where they're just trying to mess with you, and they're doing that on purpose. That's the difference. Here's the tip. If you're nice to a woman and soft verbally and physically around her, she's going to think that you're weak. Now, with my goddaughter, because I learned this with my ex-girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend, she was an Asian girl, about 5'1.5". Here I was, I just won the national title. I was benching in kickboxing, I was bench pressing 365 pounds for 2 reps. And here she was thinking, like, she literally thought she could kick my ass. And I'm not kidding. One day she starts punching me in the face. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it was just weird. And then she did it another time. Like, she was really punching me. And I popped her open palm on the chest. And she fell back. And she kind of banged her head on the wall. She started crying. And I'm like, baby, what's wrong? I go, did you hurt your tailbone? She goes, no. I go, did you hurt your head? She goes, no, it's fine, baby. I'm like, well, what's wrong? She goes, well, nothing. I'm like, so why are you crying? She goes, oh, I always thought I could kick your ass. And I was like, what? See, when you hug a woman, if it's soft, she feels soft. So she equates that with your soft. If your voice is soft, she equates that with you being soft, and on and on and on. Now, that doesn't mean you got to be hard all the time, because that's a turnoff. But there have to be times when you got to kind of show her your strength. You got to squeeze her when you hug her. You got to squeeze her when you grab her. Not all the time, but once in a while. And here's the thing, she came to the kickboxing practice and she saw me fighting other guys. But here's the deal, because she wasn't getting punched in the face, she just thought I was this real nice guy, because whenever I was physical with her, I was just really nice. So I figured that out years ago, and when I was with my goddaughter, when we were going through the mall, and she started pulling these games on me, I was like, what the fuck is she doing? And then I was like, oh, she's playing games. So I grabbed her, and I squeezed her, and I pulled her in firmly to where she couldn't get away if she tried. And she kind of like, oh, okay, yep, you're the man, you're strong, I get it now. And she completely relaxed, and she calmed down. And that's the thing, the reason why she was acting up, because she was nervous. Like, hey man, are you paying attention to what's going on around us? Are we safe? Are you looking around? And the minute I showed her, hey, I'm catching your games, I'm squeezing you, I got this, she just relaxed. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something that's new that you've never seen out there before. That's what my course Crack the Female Code is all about. What are the underlying unconscious patterns and hardwiring that women have that are different from men? Buy my book Crack the Female Code at crackthefemalecode.com, and then after that, take my course Crack the Female Code for Men. Alright, God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.